really expected to get the pulse of your coaches in your region. And at each meeting, you're expected to be able to bring back and articulate and convey whatever the message is from the coaches in your region and whatever the issues are.
This is Joe Martin, Executive Director, Texas High School Coaches Association. Thank you for joining us today on our podcast. Before we get started, a few updates regarding the spring of 2025. Just reminding you that our 25-26 THSCA membership is available to you on our website. And encourage you to sign up as soon as possible, and don't forget your liability insurance as you do that. Also, coaching school tuition is available on our website currently, and you can go to into the portal. You can go to our website and be able to sign up and get your tuition to coaching school, which will be in San Antonio. The Hall of Honor is July the 19th, and coaching school runs July 20 through 22, with a regional meeting being on July the 21st on that Monday, and our general meeting the 22nd. And just reminding you that those two meetings are not the same, and we encourage you to attend both of those meetings, along with the 250 to 270 hours of professional development. We look forward to seeing you at coaching school. The sooner you sign up, the cheaper it is. And providing that you have membership going into coaching school, you'll be set and ready to go coming out of coaching school for the new school year 25-26. As you know, the 89th legislative session started in January. A lot of updates on our website, a lot of things that potentially can impact you, us, all of our coaches and athletics across the state of Texas. So stay tuned to our website. We will be involving updates through Sports U and sending legislative updates as we need you as this session grows beyond vouchers and the UIL bills that are out there. We will be fighting for you in our profession, and we need your help. So stay tuned. When we can get information to you, please respond as soon as possible. Have a great day. This is going to be a great podcast.
Hey coaches, did you know we're now offering shows for all sports? That's right, whether it's basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball, football, soccer, you name it, we've got you covered. If you're looking for a way to showcase your program, promote your players, and highlight the amazing things happening with your team, our coaches shows are the perfect solution. Plus, our business model lets you or your booster club raise money while building excitement and support for your program. Don't miss the opportunity to take your team's story to the next level. Find out how you can get your very own coaches show. Reach out to Chris at 713-269-4620 today. That's 713-269-4620, because every team deserves the spotlight. Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach's Call. I'm Chris Daly, and I have the honor and privilege of introducing our guest interviewer, Coach Amanda Wolfstrom. Amanda, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Awesome to do this today.
Cool. Well, I'm going to hand over the duties to you to introduce our mutual friend and talk about what we're going to hear today.
Right. All right, guys. Well, I'm super excited today. Welcome to this episode of the Coach's Call. I am your host, Amanda Wolfstrom. I am proud to have served as the first female board member of the Texas High School Coaches Association. Today, we're going to be diving into the topic that many of our members ask about, but few fully understand, and that's the role and structure of THSCA Board of Directors. Joining me today is Kendall Miller, Coach Kendall Miller, who just completed his term as THSCA president. He is a longtime advocate for our coaches across the state of Texas. So if you ever wonder what it takes to serve on the board and how the election process works, or what the board actually does to represent coaches across the state, this episode is for you. We're going to clear up the process. We're going to talk about responsibilities and maybe even inspire some future board members who are listening today. Coach, how are you doing today?
Good, Amanda. How are you?
I'm excellent. Good to have you. I'm so excited for this, my guy.
Oh, I'm really excited to be on this. Anything with you, I'm excited for.
Oh, my man. All right. Well, let's get this started here. Let's talk about the basics real quick here. What is the role of the THSCA Board of Director, and why is it important to the overall mission of the association?
Well, the role to begin with is I always say the board of directors kind of works within this state the way that Congress is supposed to work, meaning that you get the questions and concerns and whatever's going on in your different regions throughout the states from your schools and your coaches, and then you bring that back to the board, and then we're able to address it from the state level. And so what you find is, because Texas is a rather large state, that you have different issues throughout the different regions. And so when you bring that back, you're able to put in place or help put in place, whether it's some rules that need to be changed or legislation or direct contact with the UIL, that's going to make our game better, to make high school athletics better, and to make it more suitable for our schools.
Awesome. And Coach, how many board members currently serve on the THSCA board, and how are they divided? You talk about this big state. How are they divided across this state?
So the state is divided into 8 different regions, and it doesn't necessarily go in numerical order from west to east or anything like that, but it is divided into 8 regions. And so each region has 4 directors that serve on it. And 3 times a year, we meet together and address concerns that come from different regions. And so within that, there are several subcommittees and everything that address more specific needs that we have. And so in each region, the directors are selected by their peers, by coaches in that region. So every year at coaching school, there will be 8 different regional meetings. And every year at coaching school, they will have nominations for their new director or director at large or director elect. And then that person, once elected from their region, will serve a 3-year term as director. So the short answer is 8 different regions, 4 directors for each region. And within that, we all meet together, and the easiest saying we say is try to help coaches help kids.
Right. Excellent. And Coach, you kind of hit on the election, but can you walk us through how someone were to get elected on the board of THSCA from a nomination standpoint?
Well, you have to be at coaching school, and you have to be at the regional meeting. And once you're at the regional meeting, you're basically nominated by your peers. And so the good thing about it is that it's in front of everybody. It's not hidden ballot or secret. So there's a coach somewhere in a ballroom that has hundreds of coaches in there, and they take open nominations for new director at large or director elect. Someone raises their hand and they nominate Amanda Wolf-Schramm, or they nominate whoever. And there's usually about 3 to 5 nominees that will go up before the nominations cease. And when they do, then everybody that coaches in that region that's at that regional meeting will vote on those 5 candidates, and the one that receives the most votes will be the new director elect. And so then they end up serving a 3-year term.
And Coach, what qualifications or requirements must a coach meet in order to be nominated? Is there any kind of qualification or requirement that somebody's got to meet to be nominated?
Honestly, must be a full-time coach, and a full-time coach in one of our schools, and be a member of THSCA. That's pretty much it. And they couldn't have served before. You only have the opportunity to serve one time.
So you get one term to serve once elected, right?
Once elected. You cannot be elected again.
Right. Okay, and Coach, what qualities or characteristics do you typically see in coaches who are elected to serve on the board of directors? Are there any kind of qualities that are common?
Well, I think, I think that usually it's coaches that have shown, just some that initiative and leadership in something that they've done to stand out, and and usually have a voice when a voice needs to be made. And so, because at the end of the day, you're representing your region to the state. And so I think what coaches look for is this someone that we can rely on to have the courage and have the ability to present things in a way to the state that's going to best help us here in this region. And so it's typically someone that's been out front in some form of fashion, whether it's on their sideline or something that they've led locally in their region. And then someone that the coaches generally has a connection with many of the coaches throughout their region. So it's hard for someone, I think, that's only been in a region for like a year or two. I mean, I've been in, I guess when I was elected to it, I coached in Region 3 for, 15 years. So in 15 years, you have a lot of time to develop a lot of relationships working in the same region. And so by the time it comes to being nominated and being voted on, you have a familiarity with so many of the coaches there in the room. And so it's able to, they think that you'll represent them in the right way.
Right. And okay, so this next question that I have for you, in my learning process of when I was on the board, it was a learning process for me. And the process between election and when you actually begin to serve on the board is different. And I had to learn that. I did in my term of 3 years, I had to learn that at first. So walk everybody through right now. Once a coach is elected, what is the process between that election and actually beginning to serve on the board?
Well, there's a pretty significant gap when that happens. I remember when I was elected, but it isn't really until 2 years until you actually serve. Right. And so I think I'd gone to a coaching school, regional meeting, another coaching school. And then I remember I asked somebody and I go, hey, was I elected to something on because I'd kind of forgotten about it because you went so long before you ever actually served.
Yeah.
But the reason that happens is because in our profession, there are always two director elects. And the reason that happens because in our profession, there tends to be a lot of movement, whether it's someone that takes another job or someone that retires or someone that moves to college or someone that gets out of coaching. Well, there must always be those 4 directors for that region.
Yeah.
So there are always 2 director elects. So if someone moves off, then immediately you can put someone on. Now, if no one moves off, then you're sitting there for 2 years before you ever serve. And so it's not immediate unless there's movement up top in front of you. But and then you get on and then you start your 3-year term after after your elect time is worn off.
Yeah.
Or has expired.
All right. So we're going to move into the board roles and their responsibilities. Okay. So my next question is, what are the main duties and the expectations of a board member once they begin their term that we were talking about?
Well, the first expectation, if you're a board member, is to be there at all meetings, and which is going to be, like I said, 3 times a year. You'll have a meeting in December, a meeting in April, and then again at coaching school in July, right?
Right.
And so to be there. And then there's times throughout the year that you're going to be asked to collect information from your region, whether it's a study or a survey on something that's about to come forward and be presented with. You're really expected to get the pulse of your coaches in your region. And at each meeting, you're expected to be able to bring back and articulate and convey whatever the message is from the coaches in your region and whatever the issues are. And so I think that's the biggest responsibility there for a coach. Then at coaching school, obviously it's the biggest coaching school of its kind in the world, but you're expected to work that and see that flows easily throughout, and all the directors there coaching school there from beginning to end. So Those are probably the primary responsibilities of the board of directors.
All right. All right. Now we're going to talk about the at-large. We kind of hit on it a little bit while ago. Okay. And so the question is, what does an at-large director mean, and how is that position different from a regional board member?
Yeah. So what happened with the reason the at-large position was created, and I think that's the first thing that everyone must understand to see how the process comes about. If you look at the name, we're the Texas High School Coaches Association, right? And so that's coaches, all kind of coaches, all sports, both genders, everything, right? Coaches entails any kind of coach that we have in our high school. Now, the association began as a Texas High School Football Coaches Association. So obviously you have an association of only football coaches. Well, that name was dropped because in order to expand and represent all coaches, but you have to understand the day that dropped, every coach from all the other sports didn't just jump into it, right? Because this has been a football association for so long. And so whenever you have anything that's limited or restricted, there's always a wake behind it before it's ever truly going to become as diverse as you want it to be. And so what we were finding was in the association, although we had dropped that and become the Texas High School Coaches Association, it was still really the Football Coaches Association. It was still really all men. And so in the attempt to diversify the board of directors and have it really match what our association, have it be more representative of what our entire state looked like, the board realized there needed to be a change in how that process went about. And at some point, so the at-large director was chosen instead of elected. But they were selected after speaking with the senior directors in each region and coaches in that region of non-football coaches that had the respect of many of the coaches throughout the region. You're one of those people. And so to have that happen, that has now made us stronger because more coaches now that traditionally did not see a place inside of the THSCA see one now because there's representation for them that did not exist just several years ago. So that was an intentional effort by the Coaches Association to put better representation of what all of our coaches look like and what they coached throughout the state in leadership positions with the association. And therefore, that's been a direct result of that has been the expansion of the members of this association.
Yeah. And, having gotten that opportunity to be an at-large for Region 8, it was, I didn't think about how big of an impact it would have, and to see it from my first, because that was my first coaching school, physically going to coaching school. Yeah. My first one was and it was from then until now, how much we have grown is, yes. It's literally incredible. And to see people like, this is the best association, best coaching school. I'm learning so much. The amount of possibility and what our association does. I mean, it's just eye-opening for everybody. And I know that I've said it and I've written it in the magazine, but once you see what we have to offer, you'll never go back. You'll never go back.
And I do that all the time. I try to get so many coaches throughout the state that have never been. And I just say, please, just come. Just come one time. And then typically they don't stop coming. And right. Because there's so much to offer. And but the at-large right. position has been something that's been really, really key to that, bringing in other coaches from different sports from different genders. And I mean, at the time, we're the same thing. We didn't have hardly any minority coaches on the board. And the at-large position has helped with that. And so, again, it was not. It was just to have somewhat of an equal representation of what we have in our coaches that are actually in our schools and actually coming.
Yeah.
But that, I think, has opened the doors to so many of our coaches to want to come now because they see coaches there and they're able to hear it from. If I'm a softball coach, I'm able to hear it from you. Mm-hmm. They can hear it all day from a football coach to say, hey, come to coaching school. Yeah, your football coach want softball coach to come. But if someone that's been in the same the same ship that I'm in telling me, okay, now I'll listen to that differently because I know that you're going to be looking for the same thing that I'm looking for in it. So no, and I've seen it change. I mean, my time on the board was really at the start of the at-large position and then coming through till now. So I've seen this board and the association expand exponentially and grow and have a different look to it and be more representative. So to see it happen in action is a whole different thing also. The association has always been a great one. It really has. It's been a great one. And this was to find a way to build upon the foundation that was laid by Coach Joseph, by Coach Rutledge. They laid an unbelievable foundation. And then you had Joe and Glenn that have come in now and have found a way to expand on that and to build an even greater ship on it.
Right. Okay, so now let's talk about how long is the term for a THCA board member and how often do elections take place? I know you said something a while ago about coaching school, but let's talk about terms and numbers for our board member. How long is the typical term for a board member? And how often do elections take place?
So elections take place every year, but the typical term is 3 years. And so you'll be a freshman. Go ahead.
But essentially you get to be involved in the board for 6 years, right? Because you're off for 3 and then you get to physically be on for 3. Correct?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's kind of confusing a little bit, right?
It is. And before you know it, you've been on the thing 10 years. Right. And so, yes, as a director elect, you are involved in some ways. You're involved in the regional meetings that you have in your hometown, in your schools that you have in February. You'll help and assist at coaching school, but you're not all the way involved in it. And so, but you do things leading up to it. And then when you're finally on as your freshman director, that's when you're full tilt and you're all the way in. So yes, you've got about, I guess, 6 or 5 year deal that you're doing something with the association at least.
And that's where we need to explain also to people, because I didn't understand this. An at-large, you're for 3 years and then you're off. And something that, we also learned was that an at-large, you can be elected, right, to be a board member. That was something that was also. And so I know there's a lot of confusion, and I think that this is a good thing that we're talking today, is that we have those conversations of terms and elections and those kinds of things. Our next question, how does a board member eventually become president of the association? And what does that pathway look like? President Kendall Miller?
After you serve your full term as director, then you are eligible to be elected president or to be nominated for president.
Right.
And there is I don't want to answer this incorrectly because there is a number of years after you serve that you're eligible to be nominated for it, and then that goes away. I want to say 3 years, but that doesn't sound correct. Could be though. I think it is 3 years, but don't quote me on that part. And so the year that you're off, the year that you're ending, you're now eligible. And the freshman directors that are coming on, they're responsible for nominating and voting on the 3 nominees. And they're going to take every um, every director that's eligible, every senior director and past director that's eligible to be nominated for president, and they're going to vote on all of them. And the top 3 vote getters will be your nominees for president-elect, and then those 3 will be voted on at coaching school. And so in the general meeting on the last day. So that's how that happens. There's absolutely no campaigning for it or no soliciting for it. Cannot happen. And so, I think that's what's great about it. It's and there's absolutely no politics for
it. Right. Kendall, talk about what are some responsibilities that come with being the president compared to the board member? I know there's got to be a lot of responsibilities.
There are a few. Well, the first thing, now you go again, you really have a 3-year term again because you're the president-elect for a year. Then you're the president for a year, then you're the past president. So now you serve another 3 years on the board. So it kind of starts all over again. I feel like I've been on it for 30 years, like I really do. But but you serve again for another 3 years. And then there's different things you're responsible for heading up the general meeting at coaching school. I won't say you have to do this because this is, and I felt like it's a privilege the whole time, but you get to represent the association in so many different things. And I don't have enough time on this podcast to say all the unbelievable things I've been fortunate enough to do to represent our association and the people that you get to meet. But for that year, you're president, you are the person that represents our Texas coaches on a national level, local level, state level, with your meeting legislators and everything when it comes to you. So that is no doubt one of the greatest privileges that I've had to be president.
Well, I will say this. I remember the day that you were elected, and it was I was extremely emotional because first of all, you are a tremendous person and leader, but to see that our growth within that association and to see that and to watch history be made that day was absolutely incredible. But I would say that you've done an exceptional job as a leader for our state. I give you a hard time a lot, but you've done a great job.
You better give me a hard time, but thank you, man. That means so much to come from you.
All right, now let's go into what are some duties or priorities of the THSCA board that has changed in recent years, especially what are some ways that have the duties or priorities changed within the board in the recent years, especially with the growth of the association and the changing landscape of high school athletics?
Well, I think that's just it. I mean, those responsibilities constantly evolve, right? I mean, because it's going to adjust to the landscape of our livelihood every day, right? So you think about the things that we've had to take on here recently, whether it's from, at the end of the day, what the association decides is what we're doing, helping coaches help kids. And if there's something out there that's going to help coaches help kids, then this association is behind it. If there's something out there that will work against coaches helping kids, then the coaches association is going to be against it. How we take that stand on it is what we decide and what we do. And that means whether it's with the UIL or whether it's with legislators. We've dealt with several legislative issues here in recent years, that things that will hinder us or help us coach kids every day, particularly in our public schools. We've worked with the UIL to try to keep the fairness in our game and the parity in it. And we've made serious adjustments to rule changes, PAPFs, and things that need to change in order to help us. So it's hard to say that you nail down to one thing. That's the general category, because every day this thing evolves. We have a new issue every month that didn't exist before that time. And then you have to decide on how to take it on, whether it's special interest, whether it's recruiting, Whether it's with college coaches, I know that our college coaches in this state have a direct line of communication with our leadership. And it is, how do we make this the best for our coaches, coaching our kids that are trying to be recruited, and how can we best serve them, and how can they best serve us? So there's a lot of irons in the fire, but at the end of the day, it all goes back to, is this something that's going to help our coaches help kids?
Right, right. I want you to think about this now, okay? Because hopefully we've got some people that listen to this. For any coach out there listening who may be interested in serving on the board one day, what advice would you give them about getting involved and staying connected to work for the association within, like, the board of director, or one day be a president? What advice would you give?
Be there. I mean, the first thing is just simply be there. I mean, you have coaches that coaching school is where that starts. Be active at coaching school, and be willing to volunteer, be willing to help, and then be active in your region with whatever's going on with the coaches in your region. Be active with that. And so, me as a young coach, I mean, we would do coaching clinics and the North Texas coaches clinics and here in Region 3, and I would help with those and help facilitate those. And you're getting in front of other coaches now at that point. So the coaches, those same coaches that are going to those clinics, are going to be the same ones that are at coaching school that's going to nominate someone to represent them for THSCA. So whatever you have in your region that's going to involve most of the coaches in your region, be involved with those. And when they need volunteers and need leadership, accept those roles. And then that will typically translate to the state level.
Right. When I sat down with Coach Martin and Coach West, and they told me that I was going to be the at-large, I had a really hard time because I'd just been on the advisory, and I didn't feel like, being, as far as active goes, like I hadn't, because, it'd only been a year, right? And so I was like, how? And they were like, Amanda, you were willing to work. You were, when we needed you guys to do stuff within, the committee, you're willing to work, and you're passionate about helping. And so I think piggybacking off, like, that's what we need right now. Right. And, during my term of getting to serve on the board, I wanted to go to everything that I could, even when I was in season at our regional meeting in February. Like, it was a priority for me to go, because I did not want ever to think like I was taking for granted the opportunity of a lifetime. I knew it was an opportunity. And so I agree with you about just doing the work and helping coaches and helping kids in this association as much as we can.
Well, you've done it as gracefully as anyone could have. And that's been admired by so many. It's been fun to watch you and fun to be a part and along with you through that journey on it. And trust me, I know being the first is always courageous, and being the first and walking in that room full of old football coaches is even more. And the thing I love about it is you sat there and stood right with everybody and brought just a tremendous input that was needed. And you've been a direct reason that we have had a greater influence of so many more coaches because of your leadership in there. So it's been fun to watch, and you're very much appreciated. I can tell you that, my friend.
I appreciate that, Kendall Miller. Coach, I want to thank you for sharing your time and your insights today. It's clear that THSCA's board of directors plays a vital role in advocating for coaches and supporting our professional growth and helping guide the future of Texas high school athletics. As we wrap up, just a quick reminder that if you're attending coaching school this summer, you'll have the opportunity to vote for a new board member to represent your region. Your voice matters, just like Coach Miller has talked about in the process. And this is one of the best ways to stay involved and help shape the direction of our association. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Chris.
Cool. Well, thank you, Coach Wolfram, so much. I thought that was wonderful. And my biggest takeaway from the whole thing was just go to coaching school, get involved. It is so important in a coach's career. I love that. Thank you so much. And thank you, Coach Miller, for all that amazing information.
Thank you, Chris. That's fun to do.
Hey, of course, I want to thank our guest, but I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me what I consider the most valuable thing you can give, your time and your attention. And I know you don't do it to hear me. You do it for the great messages provided by the THSCA. And hey, if you'd like to associate your company with the THSCA and the Coach's Call podcast, limited sponsorship opportunities are available. You can reach out to me, Chris Daly, 713-269-4620, or head over to my website, freshmediaworks.com. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Texas high school coaches. Please share this show out to everybody you can so that we can help share these important messages. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Coach's Call. The interviews in this show are brought to you by the Texas High School Coaches Association. THSCA provides to its more than 26,000 members access to the people, events, tools, and resources to help them thrive in the profession, become trusted leaders in their communities, and live balanced and successful lives. The work and sacrifice coaches do every day is vital to the development and success of student athletes. The THSCA supports these efforts. We fight for every coach, provide them with the connections and resources to improve their lives, and help all student athletes throughout the state enjoy lasting success. The mission statement is simply this: to help and serve Texas high school coaches as they work to help and serve student athletes. Helping coaches help kids. For more information on the THSCA, visit www.thsca.com. Get ready to tee off with the legends of Texas sports. That's right, the TLSN Legends Golf Classic, a day of golf, glory, and giving back. It will be held at the Great Hills Country Club in Austin, Texas, Sunday, September 15th. Registration 11 a.m., tee time around noon, award ceremony at 6 p.m. Who's invited? Everyone. Fans, friends, alumni, business leaders, and golf lovers. If you have any interest in golf, this is the must-attend golf tournament. Whether you're swinging for birdies or just soaking up the stories, this is a can't-miss event. What can you expect? A round of golf with Texas sports legends. A premium course experience at Great Hills, awards, prizes, and exclusive photo ops. Food, drinks, unforgettable memories. The full details will be coming soon, as well as the lineup of legends who will be the captains for each team. To stay in the loop and to keep updated on player announcements, sponsor reveals, and ticket availability, go to TexasLSN.org. That's TexasLSN.org. The TLSN Legends Golf Classic.